Hi, I'm Ken from Crypto Trading KS. It's a joy to be with you all. Thank you for tuning in. Our mission is to make life more worthwhile and meaningful and bring real wealth to everyone. Let's run the numbers. Bitcoin is currently trading at 46,965, down 3.03%. Ethereum trading at 32.19, up 0.65%. I have hidden knowledge gems throughout this video. Unless you watch to the end, you will miss them. See how many you can find. Our community is all about real wealth. Real wealth is about fulfillment and meaning, purpose and fearlessness. It's much more than just money. I'd like to talk to you today about strength. Edmund Hillary, on the 29th of May 1953, was the first confirmed climber to have reached the summit of Mount Everest. He said, "It's not the mountain we conquer, but ourselves." This is really, really true in trading and investing. Rule 774, master yourself to master the market. It's so important. Self-mastery is the central focus of our community. Henry Ford said, "When everything seems to be going against you, remember that the airplane takes off against the wind." You say, now I understand, Ken. This is Mount Everest, and that's an airplane. Oh, it's starting to make sense. A powerful thing to keep in mind, strength grows in adversity, disappointment, and trouble. The things that are not pleasant grow your strength the most and grow you the most as a human being. They're really important. You are never given anything other than that which you can handle. You don't have to worry. You are on your own unique path in life. Every obstacle, every diversion that you've ever gone through is actually leading you where you need to go. You're here right now. This is part of your path. You're exactly where you need to be in the most incredible market on the planet. Rule 174, the T-cube method, trend, timing, and trigger. We're going to look at trend now, using the KS process to determine the true trend. The first thing we do is look at investment substitutability. The S&P 500, the proxy for stocks, is up 29% over the past year. Gold is down 8%. Bitcoin is up 297% for the past 12 months. Let's now have a look at the Bitcoin trend. Looking at the KS model, which is a crypto technical trading model based on institutional price psychology, we can see the price is currently in the bull market psychology segment of the run. There are three segments: bull market, bear market, consolidation, between each halving event. It's really important to compare sunlight to sunlight, darkness to darkness, and dawn to dawn. Basically, that's saying we compare the bull market psychology to past bull market psychology to past bull market psychology. This is really, really important. When you compare dissimilar psychologies, you get very erroneous results. It's also important to normalize black swan events. What we had here recently is the excess liquidity blow-off, the China miner exodus, which caused a death cross scare, a pi cycle cross at the top here. What realistically happened? The governments all around the world printed so much money that they inflated Bitcoin far too much. What we've seen here is that excess profitability just blowing off and a resumption of the normal trend. For example, this was the COVID and US liquidity crisis here. That is not a normal part of actual Bitcoin price action. Yet a lot of people normalize that and say, oh yeah, that's fine. Actually, it's not. Black swan behavior is very, very different. It is anomalous. That is really out of the ordinary. We need to almost normalize these things by pretending it didn't exist, by actually joining the lines like this. Of course it did exist, but it's not a normal part of price action. You see, wherever these lightning bolts occur, there are black swan events. Black swan events happen all the time. We had 3 just recently. That's what caused the 50% decline. According to the on-chain data, we're roughly around this particular part if we zoom back to the 2016 halving cycle. Zooming out a little bit, it's just around here, just around this area. You notice that there is some downward price momentum. I've been warning people about this for quite some time. The big increase in price needs to be normalized. That is all part of Bitcoin's exponential price action. I've also been sharing this diagram which overlays the 2016 halving cycle here in green and shows the September area. Things are tracking reasonably soundly according to this model. A lot of people have been saying September will be a sell-off month. That means they would expect the price of Bitcoin not to go up like this, but to go down like this. I can't see anything in the on-chain data or anything anywhere that actually points to that at this point of time. I see absolutely the opposite, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to get price shocks like this. You can see that it went down. Just bear this in mind. This is a fantastic time to DCA or dollar cost average in by buying in layers or layer buying. For example, if it even came down to 43,000 or even a little bit lower, 42,000, that's still absolutely on track for this kind of behavior. It's really important to understand Bitcoin is an exponential asset class. It wobbles around in unbelievable ways. It catches so many people off guard. Looking at the Bitcoin stablecoin supply ratio SSR oscillator, we can see money is flowing into the market and flowing into Bitcoin. This is very healthy. It's also really important to understand that crypto's digital assets are more than just digital assets. They're literally the building blocks of the next evolution of the internet. Going back and looking at the technological adoption curve for internet users, that's this white line going between 1992 and 2006. We look at the crypto line, that's growing exponentially more quickly, more rapidly than the internet ever did. It's literally technology that's going to change the world as we know it. Crypto's digital assets are fundamentally changing the world. I would like to give a special call out to Crypto Badger. Thanks CB, this was a fantastic website that you shared. It's BitGr, it sounds very gurish, doesn't it? BitGr.com. A fantastic thing here. Look at this, fiat money supply, M0, compared to cryptocurrencies. Wow, look at ADA and Binance Coin. They're rivaling, well, they're above Brazil and Netherlands and Canada and Poland. Look at Ethereum. More money than is circulating in so many places. Just amazing. Have a look at Bitcoin. Whoa, this is really incredible stuff. And the growth is just getting started. I think a lot of people might be interested to see where their country ranks, so I'll just go through it a little bit. XRP is doing really well, above Iraq and Libya, Belgium, Thailand, Pakistan. My goodness, look at Doge. Wow, incredible stuff. Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, Chainlink, you can see already how much digital assets are coming into play all around the world. There is a very high probability that eventually cryptos will replace central bank fiat currency. That's why everybody is scrambling in the central bank portion of the economy to create CBDCs. They know what's coming. I'd like to thank the very generous and beautiful people who have donated to me at buymeacoffee.com/cryptotradingks. Thank you so much. It's very much appreciated. Individuals, corporations also know. Look at the increase in Bitcoin's price. It's growing at a compound annual growth rate, generally exceeding 100% over a substantial period of time. Bitcoin and the crypto universe is incredibly profitable. That's why we saw 19.2 million new users every month being added to the crypto space for the past 6 months, and literally we're just getting started. It can be helpful to look at the KS model as literally you owning Apple, Facebook, Microsoft, everything, all of those incredible tech companies right when they were just being born. It is just amazing stuff. As many people pointed out in the community, we're really early, very early. A call out direct, and it's very funny comment. The early bird gets the worm. That indeed it does. But the second mouse gets the cheese. Very naughty rect. So we understand there's a lot of volatility inherent in the crypto space, but we are on track. If we go to have a look at Bitcoin treasuries, what we see, there are literally only 2 countries and governments that own Bitcoin currently that are recorded here. Bulgaria and Ukraine. Of course, that's going to change. And this site probably needs a little bit of updating, but it gives you an idea that there are not a lot of countries that currently own Bitcoin. Imagine when they start buying, and they will. And they're not just going to buy Bitcoin, they're going to buy the top alts. When we said you're early, you are so early. Let's have a look at the market indexes across the world. It's really important to keep this idea in your mind. Deal with problems when they occur, not before. That will reduce a lot of anxiety and also a lot of fear. We just deal with things when we need to, not before. Having a quick look across global markets, we can see Russia came up, China went down, India came up, the US did well, Brazil went down, Australia came up a little bit. It looks fairly okay. Looking at Bitcoin versus the stock market indexes in the US relative to the Nasdaq came up last night. The inverse VIX, this is the fear gauge, but inversed, it shows that fear is decreasing. This is a fear spike. When fear spikes in the market, generally the indexes go down. You can see that happening all the time. It's important to track fear. The Nasdaq came up, fear went down. S&P 500 came up, Bitcoin came up, the Dow Jones came up, and the Russell 2000 went down a little. Comparing Bitcoin to the DXY is the US dollar currency index. We can see the US dollar currency index, the DXY, has decreased recently, but the DXY is in an uptrend, as is Bitcoin. Let's have a look at Bitcoin versus the precious metals and also the inverted DXY. We can see gold came up a little bit, copper retraced a little, palladium came down a little bit, the inverse DXY. That means the inverse DXY increased, meaning the DXY decreased, as you saw in the last area. Silver was a little bit flat, platinum decreased slightly, and Bitcoin increased slightly. Let's compare Bitcoin to bonds. We could see Bitcoin here rising up in yellow. The 20-year bond, TLT, is here in white. Below that, the 10 to 20-year bond, the TLH, the 7 to 10-year, the IEF, all clustering around the same base level price movement. We can see the faster bonds coming in here, the IEI, the 3 to 7 year and the 1 to 3 year shy, moving far more quickly. Just summing up, in case you're listening via headphones, what we're seeing is the bond prices coming up in the last trading session and Bitcoin just dipping a little. Let's have a look at Bitcoin versus bond yields. We can see the bond yields pretty much all came down in the last trading session. The US government bond 30-year yield, it decreased. The 30-year treasury bond yield, the TYX, decreased. US government 20-year yield decreased. In fact, they pretty much all decreased. We had a slight uptick in the 0 to 5 year high yield corporate debt. That's the shy G. It's very shy. Let's have a look at Bitcoin compared to inflation expectations. When we look at the 5-year break-even inflation rate and the 10-year break-even inflation rate, we can see they just decreased a little bit in the last trading session. What do you notice about this? Inflation came up. Bitcoin coincided, was positively correlated with that. Bitcoin came down. Inflation came down. Inflation is going up. Bitcoin is going up. We never say one causes the other. That's not a good thing to do. In my previous background as a first and second year stats lecturer, we say causation and correlation are very different from each other. Let's have a look at Bitcoin versus the airlines and transportation indexes. We've got quite a few indexes in here for transportation. They all tend to move very similarly, but you can see there are differences. The airlines is in white, so you can see it more clearly. Transportation as a group was moving down. Now it started to move back up. What do we see with Bitcoin? Correlation-wise, it moved down. It's starting to move back up. We can say these two are positively correlated. Let's have a look at Bitcoin versus Brent oil and crude oil. What we saw, Brent and crude were moving up, then moving down. What did we see in Bitcoin? A negative correlation, but not exact. There's quite a time delay in this. Bitcoin was moving down and oil was moving down at the same time. It's not an exact parallel. These are just associated in my eyes. There's not a lot of causality here from what I see. In the past session, crude oil came down a little bit and Brent oil went up. Turning to sector performance in the US market, real estate was the most improved sector, followed by information technology and consumer discretionary. On the bottom, financials were heavily hit, as were energy and materials. Looking across the sector heat map, we can see a lot of power in Apple and Facebook, on Amazon and Tesla. A lot of reds in the banks and the capital market, Schwab's. Yeah, it's not very interesting. There's a lot of green in the technology sector. Let's have a look now at crypto stocks and crypto ETFs. Turning first to Bitcoin versus Bitcoin ETFs over the past 12 months, we can see the best performer was BitW, which is the Bitwise 10 crypto. Next was Bitcoin itself, followed by QBTC, the Bitcoin Fund Canada, followed by 21XB, which is the 21 shares Bitcoin ETP. Next was Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, GBTC, then GDLC, the Grayscale Digital Large Cap Fund, which has been on an absolute tear over the past quite a few months. Then following that, 9-point Bitcoin ETF, that's BTC TSX, CoinShares Physical Bitcoin, that's the Swiss, BTCC.B, which is the Purpose Bitcoin ETF, BTCX.B, which is the CI Galaxy Bitcoin ETF, followed by EBIT, the Bitcoin ETF, and in last place, OBTC, the Osprey Bitcoin Trust. The Grayscale Digital Large Cap Fund is on fire. Let's have a look at what is cooking underneath the hood. We see we've got Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, and Chainlink. Let's see how those 6 are faring up. Looking on the weekly charts, we can see Bitcoin has come back to that long-term support line, taken off. It's just really a little bit below this upward support. How's Ethereum going? Very, very strong upward support here. It's clearly above that. And what we're seeing is a bit of a leveling off in the price of ETH currently. Cardano, strong support, strong secondary support, tertiary support. Cardano is doing so well at the moment. Bitcoin Cash, it's been supported well by this upward support line. It's over resistance. And this is now support. We're just having a minor retracement. What's happening with Litecoin? Very solid support here. Secondary support coming through here and tertiary coming through there. It's over resistance, now support. We're getting supported by a cradle here for Litecoin. Looking lastly at Chainlink. Chainlink, very nice upward support here. Overcame resistance, turned it to support. It's just come up and done a natural wave up, and this is a natural wave down. A lot of people think that whenever there is a wave down, it's all over. You can see that's just not the case. Crypto is full of waves up and down, up and down, up and down. It's just the nature of an exponential asset class. Looking at Bitcoin versus Bitcoin companies with Bitcoin exposure over the past 12 months, number 1 position, Argo Blockchain, followed by Voyager Digital, followed by BitF, Bitfarms, Mara, Marathon Digital, Riot Blockchain, Hunt 8, HVBT, Hive Blockchain, SI's Silvergate Capital, MicroStrategy, MSTR, Galaxy Digital, GLXY, BitDigital, BTBT, ADE, the Bitcoin Group SE, and finally Coinbase Global. I'd love to give a shout out to Brian Tomlinson Photography for putting this really nice intro together. It's really wonderful, the community we have. Very much appreciated. I'd also like to give a call out to Earl Stokes. Earl created this a little while ago. It's really beautiful work. We have so many incredibly talented people in our community. If you would ever like to design anything for the community, you're very welcome to. I'm really happy to pop it up here and to share your artistic flair. Our mission is to make life more worthwhile and meaningful and bring real wealth to everyone. If you have any specific topics that you would like me to cover off, please comment below. I'm always happy to integrate different ideas into the videos where I can. I hope you found the content useful. Please consider sharing this video if you think it will help others. Thank you to our moderators and admins for keeping our community safe from scammers. Please say hi and let me know where you're viewing from, and if you have any questions. If you would like updates on price movements in the crypto market, please subscribe to YouTube, and you can join us on Facebook and Discord as well. You can follow me on Twitter and direct message me there too. I've left details in the description of this video. Please remember, crypto is volatile. Always prepare yourself for the best and worst case scenarios. Reality will likely be between them. Stay safe out there. Take care and see you next time. Bye for now.